Hi, I'm Ray, and you're listening to Insert Quest here. Today's quest is Live, Love, Die, which is a mecha RPG that I designed, and I will be running it. This is a bit of a playtest of that. We've been going through a bit of extended play, so we'll get into that a bit more in a minute. But my pronouns today are he, him. Why don't we have our guests introduce themselves, starting with Ryan?
Hi, everybody. I am Ryan. You might recognize my voice from the actual play podcast Ragnarok. Today I'm going to be playing Tessa Allbrent. I should note, going back to me personally, my pronouns are he, him. My character's pronouns are she, her. So Tessa is the pilot of the Eyebright, which is a gauntlet class mech. She has glamorous hair, determined eyes, a toned body. She is black. She is wearing fashionable off-duty clothes, and she also wears pristine battle clothes. She runs the Eyebright with her fellow AI, Zephyr, whose pronouns are they, them. And they have a relationship as young lovers. They're still on the honeymoon, so to speak.
Wonderful. And what about our other player?
My name is Alex. You probably also recognize my voice from the Ragnarok podcast if you listen to cool things. And today I shall be oh, that's what I forgot. My character sheet. There it is. I shall be playing Alistair Calderon. And he, along with his pilot Regan, pilot the Exeter. I also forgot. My pronouns are he, him, as are Alistair's. Regan is she, her. And she is protective. Their relationship is more like a comfortable married couple.
Excellent. Yes, and so our pilots are part of a mercenary organization called RESE Robot Solutions, which stands for several things. And they are fighting in the Oscaro-Macduff conflict, which is basically a war over who gets to name a planet, really. And there are various and they are fighting on both sides of the conflict, but in this particular theater, they are fighting on the side of Macduff because what a wonderful mercenary opportunity to fight on both sides of a war. So we'll get into that in a minute with a bit of a recap of what happened last session. But first, I just want to familiarize everybody listening with our safety tools. So here on Insert Quest here, we do a number of things to ensure that our players have a safe and enjoyable time on the show. A lot of what we do happens behind the scenes. We have discussions about themes and tone, things that we don't want included in the game. We do talk about things that we do want included, but in terms of safety, we specifically talk about the things that we want to avoid touching on. We also use a variation of the X card rule, where if anyone's having trouble with anything in the session, if anything is confronting for them or it's making them uncomfortable, they can say X card or press X in chat, and we will move on. From that topic, we will just move to the next scene. And if they want, they can also call for a timeout and we can have a discussion about it. Or if they just need time to recuperate, they can just call for a timeout. But we also have a safety tool in place for you, the listeners. And that is that we want to give you explicit permission that if anything is making you uncomfortable, you can stop listening to the episode. You can always come back later if you want to, but we want you to take that time to make sure that you're safe. And if you want to talk to me about anything that has made you uncomfortable in the episode, you can leave a comment, or if you want to message me privately, you can contact me at insertquesthere@gmail.com. So those are our main safety features, and if you have ideas for other safety features that we might be able to use for particularly for listener-focusing safety, we'd love to hear it. But other than that, we're going to get into the episode now. So when last we fought, Tessa planned a daring raid on a Oscaro-held fuel not fuel, ammo dump, basically. You managed to seize control of this facility with help from Liam Cortez, who is another mech pilot, and their mech Kulainen. They're from the McDuff forces. And help from the Blazing Banshees, a shock trooper regiment specialized in fighting mechs on foot. You fought the Geyser Burst Giga Fortress, a super heavy experimental mech produced by the Oscaro forces that had a lot of pretty high-tech beam-related equipment and a lot of high energy output systems. And you also found within that wreckage the wreckage of their mech and also the wreckage of the facility. Once you'd taken it, you found an experimental burst overdriver system, which can push mechs past their normal limit. It's basically a supercharger for mechs. You also both had somewhat confronting experiences. The Tessa encounter was rocked by the death of the enemy pilot and the effect that had on the AI of the Geyser Burst Gigafortress. And Alistair came across the shredded, dismembered remains of McDuff clan mechs that had been used to disguise Oscaro Pathfinder mechs as friendly forces in this region.
And a few of ours too, I think.
Yes.
Not as many, but
yeah.
A few.
So that was pretty confronting. And I think it's been probably a few weeks. You're currently in a bit of downtime. I just realized my microphone was flipped up.
Oh, that's much better.
Yeah, hopefully everybody could hear me okay. I apologize for the sound, for the bit of the soft voice there. Yes, hopefully everybody could. Did you still catch everything? It just was a bit soft.
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, it was easy to follow.
All right,
but you sound much clearer now.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I apologize for that mistake. Cool. Hopefully Levelator will fix that. Although it's not that much time, I could probably amplify it in Editor. But anyway, I think we're in downtime of a sort at the moment. Where do we find our pilots at the forward operating base, or has your base been moved to the ammo supply that you took?
I have a question,
yes.
System-wise, before we get further. So there's this fantastic list of all these expanded modules.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way we can get them besides pulling them off other mechs, or is that just the main way that you expand your mech?
At the moment, it's salvage, and I'm tweaking salvage.
Okay.
The other way to get them is to give give Tactical a reason to give them to you. So one of the GM agendas is give them new modules.
Gotcha.
So like I gave you laser comms, for example, the other session, because it made sense for you to have that after encountering jamming.
Yeah.
If you can think of other ones that might be relevant, you can always try and track down an officer. I might make a formal move for it, but at the moment I don't have one. I guess you could make a formal move for like requisitioning from command, but within the fiction, within the fiction of the anime side, at the very least, mechs don't get upgraded that often, except from taking stuff from the enemy. but I definitely could see. I definitely could see like you trying to track down command or something.
Yeah, I just didn't know if there was like some.
Yeah, no.
Way that,
It is a perfectly.
How about this argument? I would like one.
You would like one? Are you? Alistair would like one, or Alex would like one?
Both, actually.
What's the one you want?
We are of mind about this.
Is there a specific one that you are angling for?
There was. I don't remember what it's called. The one that has all the little drones. The beehive.
The beehive module, which creates a bunch of drones for distracting the enemy. Basically, they're very good at killing infantry, but they're not very good at killing mechs.
Distractions to other mechs. Okay, never mind. That's not quite what I thought.
Yeah, because within the fiction, those kinds of modules, they do kill that kind of equipment. They do kill enemy mechs, but they only kill like cannon fodder mechs when they come up against like rival mechs.
Right.
They're mostly distractions. So
like in the last mission when there were those other ones before we fought the Giga Fortress, they might have been able to harm those, but not the Giga Fortress itself.
I think to keep the narrative consistent within our within Live Love Die, I would have had that you'd definitely be able to put conditions on enemy mechs using them, but I don't think you'd be able to deal harm to enemy mechs.
Okay.
So you could definitely use them to just rack up conditions. Just keep attacking with crash and burn.
Right, because eventually, if you fill up the 4 conditions in the mech,
it starts taking harm.
Yeah.
So also, like when it's filled up on conditions, it's going to be pretty hard to do anything because you're going to have a bunch of conditions, and you'll be taking a penalty at least once.
There was something else I wanted. I know we found the burst overdriver. Did we each get one of those, or was there only one?
There was enough parts for you both to get one, so you can install them on your mech. I was thinking of maybe doing a scene where they were going to have you test them because they are temperamental systems. But I first wanted to see what you were doing on base. So that's a potential scene further that I will inject into the session, but you don't have to worry about getting that one on.
All right, so you can go first, Ryan. I just wanted to ask questions.
Now Alex needs to formulate a plan.
Yeah. Get the equipment he wants.
That's okay.
So I think that I don't. In her downtime, Tessa is probably hanging around the mess hall. Maybe getting to know some of the other characters on base. Definitely, talking with her repair team about the Eyebright because we did take a lot of damage in the last fight. So I think that maybe she is grabbing lunch with some of the support techs on her staff.
Sure. What are you talking about?
I think.
Would you like a prompt, or will?
Sure.
Okay, sure. I think. You have been fighting for a while now. Definitely, a lot of your techs have. And you're probably coming up on some mandatory leave soon.
Okay.
I think that your mercenary company would be very good about giving you leave because they don't want you to jump ship to another merc company. And I think there are other mercenary forces active on this planet.
Probably.
Yeah. You're just of note because you play both sides. I think they're talking about that, and I think one of them's like, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna rent myself one of them camper caravans out of the capital, and I'm gonna drive down the red coast, and I'm gonna see the beautiful beaches of Oscaro or Macduff, like whatever the fuck. I'm gonna see the beautiful beaches is the point. What about you, Tessa? What do you have planned for your leave?
Oh, I don't know. I was thinking about going over to the capital city. I've heard that there's
Yeah, but
a
which
lot
capital?
probably the McDuff side because be even though we do technically have operations on the Ascaru side, it would be sort of bad form, I think.
I think a bunch of the pilots, not the pilots, I think a bunch of your support staff sort of grin at one another, and one of the girls on your team sort of grins along with them and then looks away, blushing when you mention that you're going to go to the McDuff capital.
Is there something that I should know about the McDuff? What would you call it, McDuff City?
No, nothing, Commander. It's fine. No, it's a great plan. You should definitely go check it out.
No,
Yeah,
really.
I got some recommendations if you like. And then I think the girl that looked away, she sort of looks at me and says, "Lots of the pilots go to the McDuff City to find company."
Well, I'm not really in the market right now, or even just lonely.
I think the other guy goes, "Don't worry, we won't tell Zephyr. It's all right. Just between us gals."
Well, I would really have to talk that over with Zeph because they're in my head all the time. We haven't ever really discussed what would happen if the communication link were ever severed. But I think they might be very upset.
Zephyr says in your head, "Oh no, that would not be good at all. It would be like sending me into a coma where I was awake.
Whew.
It would be darkness and just my mind. I wouldn't have any sensation without your body."
Oh, locked-in syndrome would be bad.
Yeah. Basically.
Especially if the AIs can't control the mech body, that would be yeah. So I think the SAT system is pretty good. I should be able to maintain the neural link, probably with a little bit of a delay, but I don't know that I'm comfortable subjecting Zephyr to any of that.
I'm curious.
I think in my head, well, I mean, if you're really that curious,
I think it might be worth looking at the AI agendas right now as a reminder. One of them is ask the pilot to fulfill your desires.
Oh. Zephyr wants to get laid.
It's a horny teen. They're a horny teen. Sorry.
I've been alive for like 6 weeks.
I'm ready to bone down.
Yeah, so Zephyr kind of coyly says in your head, well, I mean, there are many physical things that I've never had a chance to experience yet.
Now Tessa kind of blushes and turns away, and she goes, or I maybe my mech is a little bit lonelier than I am, and
I think everybody kind of looks around the table, and then that one guy's like, all right, well, we've got a new mission team. We've got to get the Eyebright laid. And then I think everybody starts sort of like cheering, and they order some drinks from the bar. including a algorithm equivalent for Zephyr.
Oh, how does Zephyr get algorithm things?
That's true, because they can taste what you taste, but they still have access to the AI algorithm like stuff, so they don't have to synthesize your sense feed there if they don't want to.
Do you have like a port in the back of your head?
I guess maybe it's all wireless.
Yeah, because you'd have like an account.
Oh, you're right, it's wireless.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have an account that they could just send it to.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, because we said last time when Alistair was buying them, it just got like downloaded to Regan directly. So do the same thing. Yeah, never mind. I was thinking like Ryan would have to slot a USB stick in the back of his head.
That'd still be very cool.
Here, you want a drink?
He's slotting them in like the crests in Digimon. Slotted in there, or like there's one where they have cards that they swipe through the thing to give buffs to the Digimon.
Yep,
that's pretty cool. Maybe Zeph doesn't have to feel what I'm feeling. It's just like a choice. So if they want to, they can disconnect and have their own sensation.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So I think I think that we're triggering one of the moves here, and I think it is the new fraternizing on duty move. Or rather, the reworked fraternizing on duty move. When you spend time talking frankly with an ally, Tactical will ask you which one best fits your conversation. Which of these best fits your conversation? I personally feel it's the top one, a discussion of relationships, life before the war, love, or peace. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
+1 forward to your next emotion check.
Cool.
Whatever you pick, as long as you shared, add +1 synergy. I think you shared. You shared that your AI wants to get laid.
And, of course, Eyebright has a wonderful support team, so they're all on board with this.
Yeah, it did.
Your wing people?
Yeah.
I think we sort of cut ahead to, you're all exiting the bar. And that one Australian guy says to the girl, "Look, I'm just saying, Cynthia's has the hardware to support the mission brief." And she's like, look, they might have the hardware, but I don't think that they have adequate personnel to support the mission brief. And he's like, "Yeah, but they got big titty robots." And she's like, "Yeah, but they don't know how to, make love to a woman." It's like, "No, look, I reckon it'll be fine. It'll be And they argue about this as they wander off through the camp. What is the crew of the Exeter doing while all of this is going on?
So I think.
Do you want to do something before, during, or do you want to do something after that scene that just took place?
It doesn't really matter. I was thinking, if we have leave coming up, Alistair is looking forward to it, but I guess would he be able to bring? Regan's coming with him. That's a given.
I'm pretty sure that you own your mech at this point because you've worked so long that's like, look, your mech's obsolete. We're not going to repurpose it. So
I paid off the loan.
When this war is over, we're going to scrap it. So you might as well keep it. If you want to take it off world, you'll have to pay transportation costs. But
right,
yeah, that's
I paid off my mech loan and I own it now.
Yeah, exactly. I reckon that's probably an aspect of working for the mercenary company, right? It's like, look, if you work for X amount of years, you will end up owning your mech.
Yeah, we'll take X percentage out of your paycheck to cover the cost, and then
I'm not even sure it's a take X amount of your paycheck. I think it's more like, yes, your paycheck is maybe not as high as you think, but at the end of your contract, you will own a fucking war tank.
Yeah, basically. Worked for 5 years, get a tank.
Yeah.
So what I think Alistair's been doing is working on his mech shield. He's seen how agile the Eyebright is on the battlefield, and it's kind of gotten him thinking a little bit. So I'm not getting rid of the module, but I just want to I spent a few weeks giving it flavor text. So
Sure.
Alistair's been working with the team and Regan to make it so that it's like a collapsible shield like they have in video games. So it's like built into the arm of his mech now. So he hits a button and it just like springs out.
Yeah, it's like the shield in The Division or in Infinite Warfare.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's not something he has to carry. It's like built into the mech. But so it does the exact same thing. It just
there is no mechanical change. It's just a slight narrative difference. Yeah. I'm here for that.
But they've been working on designing and building and installing the collapsible shield.
Cool. Yeah, excellent. I think your team's I think your team shouts up into you like you're in the cockpit of the mech, and the cockpit's open because like you're getting in and out heaps, and they're like, "All right, boss, give it another go, yeah."
All right. Wait, is my team Belters?
Look, I just did a voice, okay? I'm trying to make
I love it.
multicultural space.
I love it. So Alistair gets in and hits the switch and watches as the shield extends, shoots down at the bottom and goes up one segment on the top and gets stuck there. No, we're still. You need to lubricate the top parts more.
It's fine. A bunch of them, you see one of them, get out, a magnetic grapple, and they shoot it up to the top of the shield, and then they, get yanked up, and and he's, getting into it with a wrench. Then he's like, all right! He shouts some word you can't quite hear over the machine, and then one of the support crew on the ground chucks him up a tool, and they're and then they give it a go, and then you see him just pull a pin out on the magnetic grapple thing, and he falls down to the ground and sort of skids away from the mech. He's like, all right, it should be good to go.
All right, so I reset it and flick it again, and the shield just extends. There, that's what I'm talking about.
And everybody's
guys.
Clapping and cheering, and you see some people coming out of the bar look over, and they fist pump into the air.
What do you think, Regan?
Well, I feel like the belle of the ball.
Oh, you are. And now we don't have to carry that thing around, so that's a free hand for I don't know.
It's a free hand.
Punching stuff, I guess.
And it's rated for another it's rated for another 50,000 extensions.
So, when we get to leave, where do you want to go?
Well, goodness, I don't know. We've been pretty much everywhere on this planet worth being.
I mean, I would not mind getting the hell off this rock. Oh, wait, is it leave or is it the end of the tour?
It's it will be end of tour for you. It's leave for those others that were talking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're getting to the end of your tour. So they're not going to give you leave until it's done at this point. They're like, you get fucking as much. You get retirement when this is done. We're not giving you leave.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, so I don't have the same vacation coming up?
No. It is coming up. It's just they're not giving you.
Okay.
You're not.
You're
probably not coming back.
They've probably been working 3 months, and you've been working 6 because it's you're about to retire. We're not giving you a month's leave when you've got 6 months left.
I want to get the hell off this rock. I don't know about you.
Well, I suppose I'm in it for the long haul since you own my chassis.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, we own it, and it's our chassis. But I've been thinking about that. What if we can get you something a little more portable?
Something that's not quite as good at punching?
Well, I mean, they would probably be pretty good at punching.
What would I use my free hands for then?
Oh, Ryan.
I don't know. Punching. Look, I was reading a mag, and there's this company out on New Tycho, and they've got
Fucking.
what? I just grabbed. I know it sounds familiar, but I don't know where I got it from.
It's from the Expanse. Tycho Station is the one that
Right, yeah.
where they're building the Mormon ship. It's fine though.
Okay, well,
I don't have a
that
problem.
was
No. New Tycho is fine.
Yeah, so there's this company out on New Tycho, and they're building a human-sized chassis. And I thought maybe we could, I've got a lot of money saved up from all these tours, and I know you don't want me to re-enlist, and I'm going to have to spend it on something. Plus, the pension I'm getting is going to keep us covered for a while.
Oh god, this is some Lethal Weapon stuff right here.
Yeah.
One more mission, and then I'm retired.
Yeah, fucking
Oh,
time for
God.
Mr. Joel's.
Yeah.
I would like that. I would like that.
All right.
Sure.
I wouldn't be able to protect you like I have. You'd be
Well, I mean, theoretically, we wouldn't really be in places where I would need as much protecting. It would be like a city where people aren't shooting at us all the time. It's retirement. That's that. No more war.
As you're talking about this, Alistair,
Hmm.
what is the reason you joined up in the first place? What was it that motivated you to go to war for money?
So I think Alistair started as an enlisted soldier, like with whatever government, where he grew up.
Mm-hmm.
And he...
A world not too dissimilar to this.
Yes, probably, yeah. And that war ended, but he realized he was good at it, and he didn't think he'd be good at anything else.
Mhm.
So he signed up, and he's just been, re-enlisting over and over again because he knows he's good at it, and he feels like he can't be good at anything else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Have you ever? How much have you given thought to retirement? Do you have a plan of where you're going to go, or is it just
Nope.
been so far off? Yeah. Okay. Cool.
No.
All right. Continue.
He's just every time, the ship out or re-enlist thing has come up, he's always just re-enlisted because he was kind of afraid of what would come after.
Mm-hmm.
But now he's old and getting tired of everything, so
Sure.
it's time to either hang it up or die, and doesn't want to do that.
Yeah, of course. Excellent. I certainly would love to hear what Regan's plans are for retirement, but other than that, please continue.
I think she feels like somebody needs to keep an eye on Alistair, and she is just the robot to do it.
Mm-hmm.
They know each other's behaviors so well. She's gotten so used to him, and she's grown out of that like infatuation stage that Tessa and Zephyr are still deeply into, and like more substantial feelings have grown out of that for Alistair. So
Maybe you should get Regan a tractor chassis, and then you can start a space farm.
Basically, what I was thinking was getting her like a human-sized robot chassis,
You can get multiple chassis for your
Yeah.
robot wife.
or just get her that and then buy a tractor.
I've got after this Reagan says to you, well, to be honest, Alistair, I have been doing some thinking about this. Um, I hope you don't mind. I've taken the opportunity. I've taken the liberty of doing some research into networked robotic extensions.
Oh,
So she brings up a list of like basically drone equipment that can be driven by a central AI core.
You've researched the Beehive module.
Yeah.
That's
Um,
nice. Nice play, Ryan.
except it's all like I like the idea of it being like farm equipment. Like
Yeah.
there is a tractor, there's a quad drone. Maybe there's even like there is a human drone that's reasonably lifelike, not like uncanny valley lifelike, but
right.
and basically like we would install the AI core in like in like a server, and it could remotely access and control all of these things. So we would be basically, so she says we would be if you wanted to settle down and find a patch of land, we could see what we can do about getting some crops to grow.
Farming? I never really thought about farming.
Well, I mean, it's a viable alternative to punching.
Yeah.
Start a farm, maybe have a couple of little guys running around.
Farmer Calderon. I could get used to that.
Landowner Calderon.
Yeah,
Calderon's a good landowner name.
it is.
Baron Calderon.
And maybe we keep the eggs that are stored out back in the old shed, and if there's ever any trouble, then you pop my
Chase off the
core.
bandit.
Yeah,
That awkward moment when you go to do a bandit raid on some fucking outlying fucking farm, and the fucking landowner comes out in his fucking blue jeans, and then this mech bursts out of the barn and just lights up your whole raider squad.
Alistair, the kids are scaring the chickens again. All right.
I love it.
Brilliant. Cool. I think that is a +1 forward to emotion.
Okay.
And you take synergy because you shared.
All right.
What's your synergy at?
1.
Cool.
Because it resets to 0, right?
Yes, you both hit bonded last time, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Excellent. All right. Cool. Yeah, I think we track forward a day or two, and we see that we see a few of the people have come out. A lot of people are watching you. It's the afternoon sun is setting, and they're like, "All right, this is burst overdriver test of the Exeter." Oh no, we'll do Eyebright first. This burst overdriver test of Eyebright. First attempt. Are you ready, Eyebright?
Roger, Eyebright is ready.
Okay. What we're going to be doing here is a speed test. We've put in your AR band some markers in the sky. We want you to activate the overdriver and try to complete the course as fast as possible. I think you're probably going to have a better chance of making it if you get a running start in flight. If you activate the overdriver on the ground, it might be hard to get airborne. It's going to fuck with your engines a bit.
Noted, Tactical.
All right. So you get that run and start, and we will kick things off. Once you pass through the first gate, we will begin timing. And so now everyone is watching as they wait for you to take off.
All right. In that case, Eyebright crouches and activates its jets and takes to the sky.
Brilliant. You launch up into the sky, agile as ever, and you move into position to get ready to pass through that gate. As you approaching it, you see a logo come up on your screen. It's the RESE's Robot Solution logo, but in the Eyebright's colors. And then
Cool.
written over the top is Burst Overdriver. So I will remind you that when you activate the Burst Overdriver, you have to shout a suitably dramatic activation phrase.
I will check with Zeph first. Zeph, you got those AR markers on your visual?
We're ready to go, Tessa.
All right. In that case, let's do it. And then she punches it and she shouts out, "Eyebright bursts."
Yeah, and I think we see like a bunch of. I think your engines ignite with a color. What is the color?
I had mentioned purple and gold as Eyebright's color, so maybe it's sort of like a bluish purple, like a deeper, maybe like an indigo.
Yeah, sure. Your engines just ignite with indigo light, and we see like the eyes of the Eyebright glowing with it. It's fucking like radiating off, and you see like your engine outputs go up to like 133%.
Oh boy, that'll be great for the fuel consumption.
Overclock the mech.
Oh yeah, you see like stress indicators going up on steadily climbing on the mech. Not as fast as you'd expect, considering how much fuel you just dumped in the engine. But you are rocketing forward, and you see your speed indicator climbing. You pass through that first gate, and there is a sharp turn coming up. You will be pulling a lot of G's.
Everything okay there, Zeph?
Yeah, I'm fine. You're the one who could pass out.
True.
Let's make sure that we don't then.
I'll keep things within safe limits then.
All right. So in that case, Eyebright does its best to ease up on the gas a little and drift through that turn. She's gonna not deactivate the engines, but slow up on the forward thrust, and just coast into it, and then hard burn again when the turn comes up.
Nice. You shoot through that turn, just coming inside the checkpoint, and up ahead is a straight followed by a bunch of weaving waypoints. How are you gonna navigate through that?
Let's see. I think that how are they spaced out? Like some
They're
of them
tight. It's like
okay.
if you've ever seen like I've seen it on rollerblading and stuff, where you put like a bunch of traffic cones down, and then the goal is to swivel through them.
Right.
It's like that. Is basically the test.
Okay. Yeah. So in that case, I'm gonna show off the Eyebright's nimble maneuverability, and really. Even if it stresses me out a little bit, and I pull some negative G's from jerking myself around so much, I'm gonna weave through them and make it look really impressive.
Sure. You start weaving through. You almost pass out. You manage to get through the last cone, and your vision's almost black. And there is a race downwards now. The next checkpoint is right before the forest canopy. So pull up at the last second. That's also going to be more G-force,
Yeah.
and you're almost blacked out now.
In that case, I'm going to see. Out of character, does Eyebright have anything that it can give me, like.
Stimulants? No, you
Yeah,
don't have any
no.
modules for that.
Okay.
Back to the Expanse, they don't have the juice built into their chairs to protect against IG maneuvers.
No, they don't have juice. You're not a space combat force. Although that'd be interesting.
We could be.
All right. In that case, I think that Tessa does some quick math in her head and gives. Can I give Zephyr permission to activate the thrusters at a specific moment, just in case I pass out? Like,
Zephyr is capable of controlling the mech in a pinch, so
Okay.
yes, you work together. They can take over for a few seconds.
Zephyr drives it into the ground and kills them both!
Yes, because they're secretly been working
Suicide
for the Oscaru military the whole time.
decided that being alive means being dead.
I mean, the game is called Live, Love, Die, so...
Yeah.
The other thing I haven't felt, Tessa, is pain.
That's not true.
Yeah, we've been in a lot of pain together. So Zeph, I'm gonna punch it again. If I pass out, make sure we don't explode.
I've got you, Tessa.
Okay, I trust you. And then, God help me, I fire that Eyebright burst again, and.
Yeah, I think we see strange, like, rings of light coming out of the back of the engine as these weird, like, burst particles are exploding out. And you shoot down and you bank up at the last second. And as you pull those G's to pull out, you're gone. Your vision is black and you are not here anymore. You wake up quickly approaching a turn. It's the last obstacle. It is basically a U-turn.
All right.
I assume you have U-turns in America.
Yeah, we do.
Yes, we do.
So yeah, in that case, Tessa's gonna take this one a little bit more gently, if she can, manage to bring herself into a state of consciousness where she can control it.
It's worth mentioning your mech maneuvers via thruster, not like aerodynamics and stuff. So you can do basically space combat maneuverability. You could accelerate forwards into the turn and then sideways thrust through it.
Right.
Big G-force things, but yeah, you have interesting maneuverability factors.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take this. That's basically what I was thinking of for the first turn that was really tight.
Yeah, sure.
But I think I'm going to take this one a little bit more in a little bit more of a leisurely fashion, so that I can finish the race and be awake for it, or finish the trial rather. So yeah, she gingerly maneuvers Eyebright through the last U-turn, and just sort of shakes it out like.
As you are coming through that last turn, you notice that the mech is pulling in a weird way, and Zephyr, you see that a bunch of your systems are redlining.
What's going on here, Zeph?
Don't worry, everything's fine. We can make it.
All right. I would like for you to roll. It's not a roll actually. Let's see here. No, it is a roll. Yes, I've got you. When the pilot and AI help each other to escape danger, roll plus synergy.
All right, let's see how this goes. Not bad, 11.
Nice. You managed to avoid danger. Yeah, you pull the mech through and you land, and just as you land, you see the burst timer run out. It starts flashing, and then it cancels, and those purple particles just slowly fade away, and the engines turn off, and you see the the Eyebright's systems all like coming down into the green. And then we hear, Tactical say, "Fantastic, fantastic show, just wonderful." I mean, your ability, the fact that you both managed to acquire burst overdriver technology is just fantastic. If we can copy the Oscaro's design and roll it out across our forces, just think of the competitive edge it will provide. We will be the premier mercenary force in the galaxy.
Before you pat yourselves on the back too much, Tactical, just be aware I was redlining through most of that. I think I might have passed out there for about 10 seconds.
Look, that just means we need to develop better G-force drugs.
Yeah, give me some of those.
And they turn to the Exeter. And what exactly do you have planned for your test of the system, Commander?
Alistair's like leaning against has his arms crossed and is leaning against the leg of the Exeter. And he says, "Well, she's not built for speed, but she's built for power."
Let's do it. What are you envisioning? Because I've got something if you don't.
Are you going to punch through a mountain?
No, I was thinking like there's a similar obstacle course, but obviously the Exeter can't fly. So it's like everything's on the ground, but they're just like barreling through trees and just cutting a line through the forest.
Might I make another suggestion?
Yes.
That is similar. Have you seen the obstacle courses that Keanu Reeves uses to train for the John Wick movies?
I have not.
So it's not a thing that like his team invented or anything. I've seen them before, but they're basically tactical obstacle courses with shooting integrated. So you have like sections where you have a pistol and like an amount of targets and an amount of ammo, and you have to take out the targets without exceeding your ammo allotment, and you get bonus points for every bullet you have remaining in the magazine.
Okay.
Then there's like a section where you have like an assault rifle, and then there's like a section with a shotgun or whatever. Like we customize to your thing. But there's also like you're maneuvering through spaces. There's like bits where you've got to like sprint to the next target. So you're going against the clock, and you're also going against like you're also up against how much ammo you have.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent. We'll try and go pretty quickly because we went quickly for Ryan's as well.
Yeah.
So I think we see them gearing up. Like, all right, we've laid out the targets throughout the forest. Good luck.
Thanks, Tactical.
So I think you see that your shotgun is further into the course, waiting for you.
Gotcha.
You have your new hammer.
Oh yeah. Do I have my SMG? Because I had a Mecha.
I think
SMG.
your SMG is up ahead of you.
Okay, so I just have the hammer.
You can see the SMG in front of you. It's like it's a short run from you. You expect there will be a target that pops up in your way.
Right. All right, so the Exeter unslings the hammer and holds it in both hands and starts stepping forward and says, Regan, punch it.
You say punch it and the whole fucking mech ignites. What color does it ignite with?
It's like a bright red. So there's
your mech is burning with iridescent particles.
Yeah, so what I kind of figure is that because it doesn't have like the big jets that the Eyebright does, like not flaps, but like compartments open, like in the legs and the shoulders and the arms, where there are little concealed jets to help with like maneuverability. Yeah. So it starts running, and then there's just like a burst of flame as the jets like.
Do you have acceleration gear?
No.
Because that sounds like a description of acceleration.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
So it just starts like
I'm happy to have like bits of your mech like open up and it start glowing, but yeah, it doesn't move faster.
So like it vents like fire out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
Weird fucking. Your mech's like designed in traditional animation, and then you've got like CGI particles coming off. It's like fucking Gundam Unicorn up in here.
But it's not like it's like fire truck red flames, not like regular. It's like really red.
Yeah, no. I'm on the trolley.
Right.
So yeah, you start running forward. And on your left is a small stream. And you start running forward, and as you're about halfway to your mech SMG, a holographic target pops up in front of you, and you see like its hand moving with a pistol drawn. It's like a cowboy mech.
So Exeter doesn't even stop. They just deploy the shield in its arm and like duck behind it and just bull rush straight through the target.
Yeah, you pass straight through the target. It glows red as you pass through it, and you see like a little point ticker on your thing tick up. You also see the timer running next to you. You close in on the SMG. It's just in front of you, and you see that there's an indicator to say that you now have to cross the stream.
Okay, so Exeter reaches down as it runs and like picks up the SMG and just keeps going. And makes the turn across the stream. Like each step just boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, indeed. I think we see like little ghosts of the particle staying in your muddy footprints as you cross this stream. You see up ahead the stream is sort of branching and it opens up into kind of like this is useful for Alex and I. The rivers and stuff in the 100 in the first season, how there's all those like shallow, really wide rivers, like shoe depth.
Yeah.
So that's sort of what I'm envisioning. This stream sort of like thins out into this almost not a plain, but an open space up ahead.
So it splashes, but it's not like impeding your progress.
Yeah, indeed. That's not the part you're crossing. You're crossing the thin part. You see that up ahead it's splitting. You're probably going to end up over there. I'm just describing the area around. So you're in the thick of these trees, and you see like a bunch of them have like X's on them to mark like don't go beyond these points. And also like it's marked in your AR. And so you're running along, and then we see two targets pop up, holographic targets with those pistols coming up towards you. Two of them in front of you.
To save time, Exeter grips the hammer in its other hand and does a spin and then chucks it so it like spins horizontally and like tries to hit both targets with the thrown hammer.
Yeah, I think you managed to hit both of them, but now your hammer is gone.
Yes, but I have an SMG. So.
Yeah, your hammer like flies through those two things. It takes them out. When the second one's taken out, you see a third one pop up and you hear a voice say, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And then this mech pops up and it's got its gun drawn.
Oh no, they're hillbilly mechs.
On your flank.
Exeter just spins and just lets a burst out of the SMG to shoot it.
Yeah, you fire off
the bullets leave like a red trace.
Yeah, you fire off that 3-round burst and it shoots through the mech. So you see your point ticker go up, and then you see it drop down 1 point because you took out this enemy using. You took out one enemy using 3 bullets, so that seems like an inefficient use of ammo to that.
Yeah.
To that. Wow. So yeah, you're still ahead.
Yeah.
You start banking through these trees, and up ahead you see there's a bit where you're sort of running up a hill, and then you see this. You see 3 mechs appear on it, and they've got and they're each two of they're sort of in a staggered, almost not L shape, but sort of like a V shape. With one at the front on the left, and then one in the middle on the right, and then one at the back on the left. And between them is like this big barreled cannon, and they're aiming it down the hill, and you hear them say, "Firing electromagnetic shrapnel blunderbuss."
So Exeter keeps running and raises its shield, and then lets out another burst from the SMG at their electric shrapnel blunderbuss
Mm-hmm.
in the hopes of making it explode and taking them out.
Yeah, I think it explodes. It blows up and they go, "Oh, criminy!" And then you crest the hill, ripping through that explosion because it hasn't even cleared yet. You charge through it, and the Exeter makes you, Reagan makes you aware that, or rather, I tell Reagan, Reagan, there is a cliff, coming up.
Watch out for that drop ahead.
Is that the way we're supposed to go?
Yes.
Like, is that? Okay. And so Exeter, is it like a gap, or is it like, is there another side? Or
No,
is it just
so you've sort of gone up a hill, and the course continues over the hill, and then the next side of the hill is a straight down drop, maybe like 20 meters.
Okay. So Exeter.
Not for free fall.
For your mech.
Right. So what I'm thinking is Exeter just stows the SMG in its holster and just runs off the cliff and then turns around and like slams its fist into the rock and just slides down the side of the cliff, tearing up the rock face as it goes to slow its fall.
As you're sliding down, you see your shotgun suspended on the cliff face.
Oh, I'm gonna. Is it in reach, or do I have to like jump off to?
I think you might have to try and maneuver. So how do you maneuver to get to it? Actually,
so
we'll say this. It's not suspended on the rock face. It's attached to like a balloon, and is held buoyant in the air.
Okay.
Just off the cliff face. So they're like, oh well, if he sees it, he'll be able to jump into it. And it's like, clearly you didn't see it before you went off the cliff. So now you've got to like jump off the cliff out towards this thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, cool.
Just because so Exeter has its hand like in the rock, and its feet are planted on it, and so it just springs off and leaps to grab the shotgun.
As you're leaping, you grab the shotgun, and you see that you're now hurtling through the sky in like 10 tons of military hardware.
Alistair, be advised, we are out of warranty.
Okay, I get it. It's fine. It's a test.
Sure. What do you do as you're flying through the sky?
Alistair or Exeter breaks out the shield again. It gets ready to. So Exeter unleashes the shield from its arm. As what's at the bottom of the cliff? Is it just rock, or is it more forest?
Grassy hill.
Okay. So Exeter comes down on the shield to absorb the impacts, and then keeps going and does like a roll, and retracts the shield as it comes up and gets ready and is ready with both hands on the shotgun to shoot.
Just
something.
think, if you didn't have an integrated shield, you could have like slid down
Surfed on it.
hill.
I know. I was just thinking about that. I could have surfed my shield down.
Cool. So yeah, you roll up, both hands on the shotgun. You see that bit where the creek sort of thins out into this wet plain, almost of pebbles, up ahead, and you see not a hologram, but a older mech standing there, older than the Exeter, and it's got big talons on its hand. The talons are holographic, but that's what it's equipped with for weapons. As you burst into this field, and it shouts at you, "You'll never take me alive, Macduff fiend!" And it charges at you. It's very pre-programmed, like it's already triggered before you've even gotten onto the field, so it couldn't see you. They're just tracking your position and like execute when within this much distance, and then it's executing a bunch of predetermined patterns.
Gotcha. So Exeter sees it's running right at it, and jumps and rolls on the side again, so it like kind of flanks it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and then comes up and just boom with the shotgun.
Yeah, it sort of keeps running as you move out of the way, and it like makes a slashing attack forward, and then like it slashes over in like an X pattern, and then back in an X pattern, and then back in an X pattern again. So it's clearly like it has no, it's not programmed to be able to tell how far it is from the target. It's just like attack when begin pattern when within this distance of you,
Right.
then once you close to this distance, execute continuous attack until you reach this point or reach an obstacle.
Right.
So yeah, it keeps slashing at the air, and you roll up and you blast it in the side, and the whole thing just crumples into nothing. And then up ahead, you see the finish line.
Yeah, so Exeter spins and like slams the shotgun on the magnetic holster on its back and just sprints to the finish line.
As you're sprinting to the finish line, you crest this slight rise, and you see a sea of friendly encoded mechs ahead of you. And Regan, you get an alert saying there is an enemy mech within this location.
Enemy presence, Alistair. Enemy presence. And I indicate with the flashing arrow in the direction that I'm getting that reading.
Mm-hmm.
Can you pinpoint it?
Nope.
Unable to.
So in the direction, you see that there's like 3 or 4 friendly mechs. And yeah, there's 3 or 4 friendly mechs that you're being indicated in the direction of, as far as you can tell.
Can Alistair try to eyeball it and see, like, which, and can he try to tell which one, like, based on coloration or modules equipped or something like that?
That sounds like I know that machine, or possibly a divine their soul. It could be a maximum effort, but I think it's either of those two.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I'm thinking it's more I know that machine.
Sure, I know that machine. Then roll 2.
They're both plus 0 anyway, so it doesn't
roll
really
plus
matter.
tactical. Technical, sorry.
That's a 9.
Nice. On a 7 to 9, your answer is hearsay. So you can tell that the 2 mechs directly in front of you are friendly, and then the ones at the back, there's something off about them. But like that could just be that they're non-standard mech designs.
Right.
One of them's the enemy. You got to pick one. The timer's ticking up.
So we're coming over a hill, you said?
Yeah, and there's like a crowd of friendly mechs here, like like holographic, foeing cheering.
Right. Okay. So in true dramatic fashion, as Exeter crests the hill, it leaps towards where the enemy mech is, and just soars over the heads of the other mechs and like lands in the middle of that little group, and comes up with its shield and just like backhands the mech that it thinks is the bad guy.
So there are 2 that you think could be the bad guy. Do you pick the one on the left or the one on the right? Because that's as far as you deduced, because you got hearsay.
Yeah, the one on the left.
All right.
And then, for good measure, he pulls out the SMG and plugs the one on the right, and just kills both of them.
Fuck yes! In that case, I don't need to roll. Yeah, you shred both these enemies, and then the burst timer runs out, and you're just like steaming.
Yeah.
This is a high detail shot of your mech. They spent like half the budget of this episode animating it on this one still image. And then you clear the trees, and there's just a crowd of people cheering. They're like, "Excellent time, Exeter! Excellent time, even for a man of your age. Fantastic, and a woman of your age. You're doing a fantastic job. Fantastic job." And there's much celebration of the testing of the burst overdriver system into the night. And I think, the evening continues. There's a bit of a party, and now I want to ask you, where does your pilot sleep? after this night of partying and celebrating the successful integration of the burst overdriver system.
Do we have private bunks, or is it like a barracks kind of area?
I think it's a barracks kind of area.
Okay. Alistair passes out outside.
Sure. Reagan, what do you do when Alistair passes out outside?
I monitor his vitals if I can.
Oh, no. Alistair passes out in the cockpit of the Exeter.
There we go.
Okay.
In the arms of your woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. In that case, I monitor his vitals. Make sure if I need to like turn him over, then I turn him over. I set an alert for him to wake him up in the morning, and I order him a nice breakfast with a lot of protein.
As you're like checking over these things for Alistair, does Reagan say anything to the sleeping Alistair? Is there anything that Reagan perhaps may have had trouble saying so far to Alistair, and might be taking this opportunity to say it when they know that Alistair can't respond?
Another night like this. Another ridiculous test. You're really gonna do it this time, aren't you? You're gonna retire. We're not gonna re-enlist. I don't know how long I can keep you down on that farm, Alistair, but I swear to God, I'm gonna do what I can.
Nice. And what about our Eyebright crew?
I feel like maybe there's more partying. I have this image in my head. I don't know if they would do it, but I have this image in my head of the Eyebright like reclining with its hands behind its head, and like a card table set up on its chest.
And then the rest of you and your support team are
all
playing cards on top of the Eyebright.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're playing cards into the night, and then it's some weird Battlestar Galactica-esque card game. Like I can't remember what they call it in the reboot.
It wasn't Pyramid.
Pyramid's the basketball thing.
I know they flipped it from the original, and that was the
and I know plums are involved. Plums and cherries.
But I've got Zephyr like because it's the mech is reclining with its
Triad.
Its hands.
Triad, yeah.
Zephyr can kind of see the cards of some of the players, so they keep like offering to tell me what hands the other players have, and I'm just like, no, Zephyr, that's not fair.
How it works. Yeah, for sure. I think after a while you see like, and I think there's other people from other crews and stuff around, and I think after a while people start separating off. You see like maybe 3 or 4 members of your crew head off in a direction together. Some go off in pairs, others go off alone, as they want to do, and you're sort of left here with the Eyebright and Zephyr, and you're sort of sitting at this table, and I think I want to know, why did Tessa join this mercenary company? Because you went to one of their like training schools that they have. They didn't recruit
Yeah.
you from a military. We established that you like went straight into like their training facility.
I feel like Tessa always had, like a really high technical aptitude. She was a top student at whatever high school or maybe university she attended, and she had like a solid career lined up before her. Like 50 or 60 years of being in a cubicle and designing subsystems in mechs or something of that nature, and it eventually, like, it all piled up on her, and she realized that what she was facing down, she had to get out of it any way she could. And her solution was, well, if I don't want to spend decades designing them, I might as well pilot them.
Sure.
So she kind of, with a kind of a childish, spirit of adventure kind of thing, made a bit of a rash decision and signed up for training.
Sure. Cool. So I think it might be nice to have Zephyr ask Tessa if combat is what they thought it would be.
Okay. So everyone else is gone. And Zephyr says,
as you're looking up at these alien stars,
Tessa, do you like our job?
I thought I was going to. It all seemed, when they would do the tactical briefings and in the sims, it seemed so neat and so clear. That getting our hands dirty, being on the ground, it all gets so muddled. I'm not sure that I like it, but it's the first thing that's really challenged me in a while, and I'm due for a challenge, I guess.
I'm trying to think of the way I want to ask this question. So, you like a challenge?
I mean, ace mech pilot, top of my class in Mecha school. I live for it. It's what I do.
It's just that back in school, you were always so excited about everything, and I live in your head, so I know. And now you're just upset a lot. Are you okay?
I'm getting through it, Zeph. I still have dreams about what happened to that other pilot of the Gigafortress.
Well, I'm here for you. And the Eyebrights, I guess I can't. Yeah, she can kind of control it. You said, right?
yeah,
So she raises the arm up, or is Tessa like lying on top of the Eyebright still?
Yeah, I kind of figured that Tessa's a little tipsy, and she just kind of
lay it on the Eyebright's chest.
Yeah.
Oh god, it's so cute.
Staring into its giant robot eyes.
Yep.
Not Tessa.
You're like a lapel pin.
Yeah, what? Zephyr. I just forgot the guy's name. Zephyr, raises the arm and gently places it on Tessa's back. I guess not on Tessa's back, over Tessa's back, because she knows that she would crush her.
They know that they'd crush her.
They know that they would crush her.
It's all good.
So they're basically like patting her on the back, but without touching her, because that would kill her.
I think Tessa kind of leans into it and nuzzles the Eyebright's hand back.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, as much as I got on well with the rest of the team, I don't know what I would do if you weren't here to go through this with me, Zeph.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And as long as you're here, I'm here. We're in it together.
How are you holding up after our first forays into combat?
I'm getting used to it. Getting your leg blown off is not something I would suggest that you experience, especially because it's much harder to reattach yours.
Well, I did sort of experience it vicariously. Not something I'm eager to repeat, I gotta say, but we held it together pretty well out there.
Yeah, it's also kind of thrilling. I think I like it. It's almost like, well, I mean, I guess it literally is that I was made for this.
I'm not sure that I was, but it is thrilling. She kind of like wraps her arms around one of the Eyebright's fingers and just kind of falls asleep on it.
Mm-hmm. Sure. And I think as our AIs and such go to rest, our AIs and our pilots go to rest, or our pilots go to rest, and our AIs take up their vigil and head into their own various sleep modes. It's probably a more accurate description. I have a question for our players. Do we want to go for another hour, or do we want to stop here and do another session later?
I'm good either way.
Yeah, I could go for another hour. I do have to go get up a little bit early, so I couldn't push it much later than that, but...
Sure. All right. Well, in that case, I think we will go for another hour, and we'll see if we need another session after that.
Okay.
In which case... clear all mech conditions and Mecha.
Nice.
Okay. Make sure the burst overdriver modules are installed on your mechs.
We can have 4 modules installed?
You can have 6 modules installed.
6 modules.
Okay. But I think you've only collected like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have the laser comms, burst overdriver, the hand-to-hand that I got at base, the flight enabled that I got at base, and the barrage system.
Right, yeah, I remember you got the barrage system last time.
You know, I've got the heavy armor, the shield, the laser comm, and the overdrive.
Yeah, cool.
The weapons don't count it. Yeah, the weapons don't count.
Yeah, the weapons aren't modules, unless you take integrated.
Right. Okay.
In which case, yes, it does count as a module, but your weapon's integrated, so you can carry others and stuff. Cool. What is everyone's synergy?
+1.
I am at +3.
Ho! Things are going to go well for the Eyebright. In which case, I will have the Zephyr. You see, you are awoken to various pings of disturbances on the perimeter, but in particular disturbances within the perimeter with no log of the enemy crossing the perimeter. It's like they have appeared within the operating base's perimeter, and as you boot up all of your senses, you see that half the camp is on fire. There are enemy mechs around fighting and massacring your people, and the sky is red.
I'm guessing the sky is not normally red?
The sky is not normally red. You suspect that this is from the fire. It's not like magically red.
Right. Okay.
But yes, to set the tone, the sky is this black red of the early morning night, being illuminated by a forest fire. Zephyr, what do you do?
Zephyr, is Tessa still, like, are we still in the same position?
Yeah,
the same
you're
spot?
holding Tessa to your chest, basically.
All right. So, Zephyr makes the Eyebright stand up, and then grabs Tessa and like pulls her off and opens the cockpit, and very Titanfall-esque like puts Tessa in.
Yeah.
I'm like, Tessa, wake up! And so she like throws her into the cockpit. So she's probably not facing the same way, but it's safer inside the cockpit.
Yeah, you sort of you tumble into the cockpit as you hear it like lock behind you.
What the hell, Zeph?
We're under attack. The base is under attack.
Oh my God. We've got to get the others on comms. Warn them.
Is it the so we could see the other mechs? Is it the?
You can see a bunch of enemy mechs, like so many. You see some of them just like mowing down the not civilians, mowing down support staff. One of them is like one of them fires like a kind of it's like a handheld rocket launcher kind of thing into some of your defensive turrets and blows them up. You see a drop ship coming down like towards your base, and this bright blue bolt of energy just shoots through it, and then a second later the whole thing explodes, raining down carnage upon the base. And then you see, Zephyr, through the fire and smoke on the other side of camp, you see this bright orange mech with like a samurai crest helmet of like a blazing sun, just glowing orange, this blazing orange, and it's got these two beam swords in its hand, and it just slices up through this mech with and down through it with its swords at the same time, and then like it comes back through it with its short beam sword, and then it cuts another mech in half. And then it sort of comes up into like this cool ass looking anime as fuck samurai stance. And its eyes sort of like look to you, and it's almost like they kind of shine and lock. It's like the color ripples across its senses' eyes, and you just see them like harden on you.
Zephyr, where's the pole arm?
Do we have? Is it?
It's near you. It's within reach, but it's not on your mech.
Okay.
All right. In that case, I think Tessa quickly, turns around and straps herself into the couch in the cockpit, and makes the neural link connection, and reaches out for her laser glaive, and does her best to level her gaze with the orange mech, and brings the pole arm to
Yeah, you bring up your pole arm, and just as you like lock eyes, you see that thing's eyes dart to another part of the base, and as you move to look, you see to your in your peripheral vision the Exeter is still in rest mode, and you see this person's mech just accelerate out of nowhere. It just disappears from all of your senses. Not because it's like gone invisible, but because it's moving too quick for you to track. And you see like little explosions as it's cutting through a bunch of the other mechs on base. And it is cutting a circular path to the Exeter.
All right, I can't let that happen. So I once again like crouch and spring into the air, activate the jets, and I'm gonna do my best to intercept this thing's trajectory. I call out, Zeph, ping Reagan, get Alistair, tell her to get Alistair and defend themselves.
Yeah, I think, Reagan, you get that ping from Zephyr. And it's just this priority emergency alert. Boot systems, we are under attack. Reagan, how do you wake up Alistair?
I think that there is an internal speaker that Reagan has had the support staff move several times in the cockpit, somewhere that Alistair can't
Punch it.
yeah. Like whenever he finds it, she has them reinstall it someplace else. And she, Alistair, we've got to get up. And then the beginning of Hooked on a Feelin' catches in. You know, the ooka chaka, ooka, ooka, ooka.
Yeah.
Just like the loudest, most obnoxious thing you know that she can find. And she blares it at top volume in the confines of the cockpit until he starts to wake up.
Yeah, what the, what? I'm awake.
We're under attack.
Yeah, shit. And he straightens himself in the cockpit and flicks the switch to close it.
Yeah. It like it's bolting shut. You can hear the screams of comrades dying over the radio. You can hear panicked mechs, both McDuff and RESE, shouting, "We're under attack! How many are the enemy? I don't know. And then you hear somebody screaming, "Get away from that orange demon!"
I turn looking for the orange one.
You see this orange mech like gliding over the sand towards you. Two big blue energy swords, like curving energy katanas at hand. One slightly smaller than the other, and it's just streaming towards you in like a gliding Naruto run.
Mm-hmm.
Orange waves of light arcing off of it, and it reminds you of your own the way the Exeter looks when its red blaze is on.
Yeah, okay. So question, what is the actual mechanical benefit of the overdrive module?
The mechanical benefit to friendly pilots, to player pilots, sorry, is let me go down to expanded mech modules. Burst Overdriver. Your mech has a means of pushing past its limits and going beyond the normal operational safeties. When you activate Burst Overdriver, shout a dramatic activation phrase and hold 3. Spend hold at a rate of 1-to-1 to add +1 to any result after rolling. It's single use though. So once you've like activated it and then you've spent all that hold, you can't activate it again. In that session. Well, in that fight.
It's been recharged since our test, though, right?
Yes, you are at full. This fight is going to be hard because I want to test the death move.
Yeah.
I want to test one of the death moves. So we're gonna trigger a death move. I'm determined to make it happen.
All right.
However, it's worth noting that for the purposes of like GM, I don't roll. So like, what Burst Overdriver does for me is I'm going to make sure that it runs out pretty much on their first turn. Because they've just destroyed your entire base. Because there's no real There's nothing I can really do to the burst overdrive from a GM perspective. That it would just end up being like, yeah, you attack them and then they don't take any damage, and that's just like, that's not cool. So yeah, their burst overdrive is about to run out, but your characters don't know that.
Yeah.
All right.
You just see this blazing demon of destruction cutting through your entire army.
Do I see Eyebright heading towards it too?
I think you just, as it's about to close in on you, the Eyebright comes down out of the sky, laser lance at the ready, and Ryan, please take over the description from here.
So Eyebright puts itself between the orange demon and Exeter, and basically braces with the pole arm, getting ready to intercept. Hopefully doing it so that this thing's momentum drives it into the blade of the laser glaive.
All right, make me that attack roll. So this is time for mayhem. So when you sling hot lead, swing your blade, or break limbs, roll plus violence.
Here we go.
Now I have Hooked on a Feeling stuck in my head.
Look, it's not bad.
Is that what playing during this fight?
I guess it is now. Let me put it on for myself.
Yeah, I'm about to do the same too.
I got an 11.
Ha! Nice! Blue Swede. Is that the name of the band?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blues. Yeah. I think it's supposed to be pronounced Suede, maybe.
Oh yeah, it probably is Suede. That's a good point. Let me turn that down a bit further.
All right, so I get to pick 2.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to just in a complete 180 from Tessa's previous stance, because no one's ever really threatened her friends before, and seeing this has driven her a little, to the edge. She's going to harm the pilot.
Oh, yeah.
So she's like aiming for the cockpit with the blade of it, and she's going to avoid taking damage from the enemy.
Nice. So your laser glaive extends out towards this mech, and its arms stay wide. It must know you're going to hit it, and your blade hits its chest and slides off, doing no damage.
Oh.
And then it sort of like rolls around you, and like you see its swords twist in its hands, and then and then you hear it speak to you. Very different from the last enemy mech you fought. It's a very calm voice, and it says, "Well, I was expecting to catch you asleep, like the rest of the fodder. But you have something of ours, and we're here to take it back." And then they rush forward again.
At me?
At both of you.
Okay. Exeter is stepping forward. It's got its shield deployed now. It does that thing where it punches towards the ground. It shakes its arm, and the shield just shoots out, and it grabs its shotgun, and he starts running up, and he goes, "You're not taking shit," and shoots it.
As you shoot, make me the time for mayhem roll.
That would be a 5.
Nice. So you go to blow the shotgun. They roll out of the way towards the Eyebright, and they slash across your shield. And then you get shot in the back, and you hear another voice over the radio. This one a bit deeper. Say, "We are never alone."
Okay.
And take 2 harm.
Yeah. That's every... I always take 2 harm. I just have those 2 boxes basically like permanently filled. Like I erase it at the beginning of the game, and then just take 2 harm again.
Most mech weapons deal 2 harm. Because 3 is a lot and 1 is not a lot. So, yeah. Like if I gave 3 harm to if I gave 3 harm to Eyebright, it's fucking half dead. I give 3 harm. Like if I give 3 right to the Eyebright, it's practically out of 5.
Yeah.
As I give 3 harm to you, it's halfway.
No, I understand. I'm just like, those 2 boxes have been filled in since the first game, and I just erase them at the beginning, and then fill them in again. So I'm going to spin around, and before Ryan goes, what's that? Take a moment, kid.
Sure.
I'm going. So Exeter.
So you have to give ground to your opponent, and they have to give ground to you. So this is kind of a dial. So you need to say something to prompt them to not just charge in on you.
Never mind. I'll wait a second then.
Okay.
I have to think.
All right. Sure. So you sort of roll facing towards the shot that came at you. And now the orange demon is in front of the Eyebright, swords at the ready. What do you do?
So I think so. Like Eyebright and Exeter are like back to back now.
You're practically back to back at this point.
Yeah.
Oh man, Alden Noah just has some real good combat music.
Exeter says to Eyebright, "We should switch. Your laser's not going to work on that thing."
Okay, in that case, I'm gonna drop it, and I'll bring up my SMG.
No, I meant we should switch and play.
Oh,
he meant change dance partners, but I like what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Sorry,
if that's what you want to do, that's fine.
No, let's do it. Right, and then using the maneuvering thrusters, Eyebright. We just like turn and face the other. I
have a suggestion to make it a little more dramatic if you want.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Since you're flight capable, you just like launch up into the air like do a
backflip and okay.
Yeah, and so like you do like we've practiced this. So like you do a backflip and I spin 180 and turn around, and so you land. Like basically where I was just standing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Zephyr, initiate the unnecessary maneuver.
Overly dramatic flip, engaged.
Yeah, you flip over, and just as you switch places, you see its orange glow start to fade. And the other pilot says over the comms, "It will be a pleasure to end your career, Exeter." Actually, no. He says it will be an honor to end your career.
Well, I mean, you certainly know who I am, but I'm at a disadvantage. I don't know who you are. You know what? This is a take a moment. I think their swords come down on your shield, and you're sort of like in the bind against one another. You're like, you know who I am, but I don't know who you are. So ask each other one question. Answer honestly. You take +1 forward to emotion with the target. So the question you're asking is, who are they? Yeah, who are you?
Yeah. Sure. I need to give this pilot a name. I'm not quite sure what to go with. Does anyone have a suggestion? Pretty reserved anime swordsman.
Reserved anime swordsman.
Piloting a mech called the Musashi.
Of course. I just want to like rip off a Gundam name. It's basically what he is. Hero. Why not? That's a typical anime name.
Sure. Hero protagonist.
I haven't read Snow Crasher yet.
I've only read the first few chapters.
Yeah, same.
Sure. Uh, um, I think I definitely want Hero, but I definitely think they need a last name. That's ridiculous.
What's the
At
guy?
the moment, I'm thinking Hero Indomitable. I don't quite
Oh,
like
okay.
the way that sounds.
I was thinking that famous Japanese sword maker that was in Kill Bill.
Oh, Hero
Was
Hanzo. Although Hattori would be
Hattori.
the
Yeah, it was
last name.
Hattori Hanzo.
Yeah,
Hattori Hero?
yeah.
Hattori Hero.
Hattori Hero, yeah.
There you go.
I'm Hattori Hero, and this is my geyser burst Musashi. Why do you bother to keep fighting in our war? Is the question they ask you. Go home. Leave this place to those who live here.
Alistair laughs audibly and says, "Kid, I'm retiring next week." And pushes him off.
Yeah, I think he's shocked as you push back. And I think that'll conclude our take a moment. Yeah.
So I had +1 emotion from the before.
Yeah. Do you want to attack with emotion?
Well, just as so.
So now you would be at
+1.
So you take plus. Hang on. Does that say you take +1 forward?
+1 forward. Yeah. That's what I had +1
so
forward.
On your next attack, you'll have +2.
But I can only use this +1 on this enemy, though.
Yes.
Or is it just +2 forward now?
I think you have +1 forward to your next roll from our fraternizing on duty, and then you have +1 forward to emotion with this target.
Okay.
On your next emotion roll.
So if I use emotion on him, it's +2. If it's something else, it's just +1.
If it's something else, it's +1. Yes.
Okay. So that was my thing. So Eyebright.
Yeah, indeed. So the Eyebright, you're on the other side now, and you're looking out at the fire on the edge of the camp, and you cannot see the thing that shot the Exeter. There's no fucking sign of it at all. There's nothing. There are no mechs out there that you are looking at. It is a empty goddamn firewall that is just blazing towards you.
I'm going to so it's just a wall of flame surging at me.
Yes, it's the forest fire burning towards you.
All right. In that case, I activate the Eyebright's thrusters, and I kind of soar over the firewall. I'm gonna try to draw this thing out and make it attack me.
Sure. What do you think that would call? I don't think that calls for a move necessarily.
Okay. Is there an emotional manipulation thing that I can do? Because I would really love to
bare your soul if you're trying to attack them with emotion. You can give a condition using bare your soul. So when you try to show someone your truth, open your heart, speak plainly, or scream your hatred. So scream your hatred could be trying to goad them to attack you.
All right. So I'll say, are you going to come out and fight, or do you only shoot people in the back?
Oh yeah, give me that roll. And you also have +1 to emotion.
I do. So I'll spend that. That's an 8.
Look, an 8 is pretty good. So on a 10 plus, you give them a condition. You do still get to give them a condition. It's just on a 7 to 9, I also get to pick one. Look, I'd love to just fucking deal harm to you. But is that actually, I think that is the most interesting. Asking you what you fear could be fun, but I think I'm going to get a chance to ask that anyway later.
Yeah.
So you fly up open and you're like, do you only shoot people in the back? And then I think you get, you take a hit
shot on the front.
Heart, to harm.
All right.
And what condition do you put on the other pilot?
Maybe hurt pride.
Yeah, I was gonna say these two seem really kind of like honor bound. So maybe like I've insulted his honor or their honor because I don't know the gender.
Sure,
of the
I'm going to
pilot.
put bruised honor as their condition.
Nice.
So you take +1 for you take a +1 against the way that conditions work when you put them on enemies. Rather,
Okay.
read this out because we haven't really had you purposefully put conditions on someone else yet. When you exploit someone else's condition, take +1 to the roll. When your own condition gets in the way or hinders you, take -1. And then obviously narrative things. So like with the mech ones where they're physical capabilities, if I say you have the condition grounded, like your flight systems aren't working, that's just your flight systems aren't working.
Right.
But like
I'm sorry.
yeah, sorry. Yeah, but you also might take a -1 if it's like, yes, they come at me from behind and I try to leap in the air to get out of the way. And it's like, well, you're not using your flight systems, but your mech would normally use your flight systems to do that. So, like, your flight systems are disabled. And so
Right.
it's harder for you to do that action than it would normally be, even though, like, it's perfectly reasonable for your mech to, like, leap up into the sky. Like, that's a thing that it could do. But because your mech would normally be used to using the flight systems, it can't. Or it finds it more difficult. But Alex, you said that you had another question.
Yeah, can I exploit the condition on this guy too, or
Yes,
just Ryan?
anyone can exploit
Okay.
the conditions on them. The conditions are on that unit.
Gotcha.
So it's
Okay.
on that the long range shooty ones. Its honor is damaged, bruised honor. Yeah, it shoots you in the chest and it's saying, "No, I'm perfectly happy to shoot you in the chest." And you see this ripple of camouflage dissolve, and this black as charcoal mech with like this deep purple energy rippling over it. You see the purple energy like steam up and off and dissipate, and there's this charcoal mech there with this long freaking Japanese matchlock looking beam rifle aiming up at you. And like you see that they've got their hand like running up along the barrel, steadying the barrel like on the side. It's like they've run their hand up it and then shot you. It's
Nice.
kind of similar to the way you might hold a bow.
So we've got a
except they're
samurai
holding their
swordsman and a ninja sniper.
No, you've got a samurai sniper.
Oh, okay.
They are very much using the. Yeah, I would say that the way. Yeah, I'm drawing inspiration from the way that I've seen depictions of samurai when they use the rifles once they got introduced. They pretty much were like, we can add Zen archery to this. We can do Zen archery with this thunderous cannon.
All right, so Exeter or Alistair says to Regan, turn on my fight music, and then he tries to shoot the orange guy in front of him.
Sure, what's the song?
It's the Immigrant Song from by Led Zeppelin right now.
Immigrant Song.
Yeah.
For Ragnarok Immigrant Song official music video. I don't think that's official at all.
Probably not.
Is it the Trent Reznor remix from the beginning of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo?
That's a good one. It's not, but that's a very good cover.
Yeah. Cool. So,
All right.
yeah.
So he's rolling violence.
Yeah, sure. And this is with your blunderbuss?
Hey. Yes, that's much better. That's a 12.
Nice. All right, pick.
Where it's time for mayhem. All right. I'm going to deal harm to the mech.
Yep.
I'm going to avoid taking damage, and I'm going to sunder their weapon.
You only get to pick 2.
Well, then I'm not going to do all 3. I am going to. I'm going to avoid taking damage and just sunder their weapon. Then.
All right, sure. So you are you knocking the katana or the wakizashi out of their hands?
The katana's the longer one, right?
Yes.
Yeah, the katana then.
Yeah. So you are you using your blunderbuss or your hammer?
My blunderbuss, my shotgun.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
So
So
I just
you like
getting close.
yeah, you blast at his wrists and he drops it, and then And then the other thing you were doing was avoiding taking damage. And you see as the sword goes flying and the blade dissipates and it's just a handle scattering across the battlefield, you see them sort of like their hand flicks out and then they sort of try to bring their hand back to grab at your gun, but you've already sort of moved out of the way and they pull back and you see them like throw the wakizashi into their other hand, their main hand, and then you see them pull their revolver from behind them.
Fair enough.
And you hear him shout, "It's a shame that you're not using a beam weapon. I'm somewhat at a disadvantage."
I'd say it's more like even footing.
And meanwhile, Eyebright, you've just been shot in the chest. You know where this mech is.
Yeah. In that case, I am going to I'm going all out on this because I'm enraged about the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Tessa says, Zephyr, activate the burst overdriver, and then she shouts out, "Eyebright burst," and she's going to charge forward with her jets and the overdrive added, and try to knock the rifle out of this thing's hand with her weapon.
Sure. As you're charging in, you see this thing's hand their hand on the mech shift, and they grab it like they're holding a spear, and you see a purple line of energy come out of the tip of their rifle as they fix bayonet, because I added a bayonet upgrade to the gear list.
Badass. So yeah, I'm gonna try to disarm this thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's time for mayhem, or
It's time for mayhem. If you were trying to break their gun, you could use crash and burn.
You know what? Yeah, I think that Tessa's enraged enough to go for that.
Yeah, because with the Sunder their weapon thing, the thing there is that the weapon is just knocked out of their hand, but they can pick it back up again, and it's fine if they can get to it. With the crash and burn, you're putting a condition on it. It's worth noting that your specialized weapon, so the one that you made for your mech creation, can take 2 conditions. So make sure you don't pick just keep that in mind when you make your condition.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to. I think Tessa has identified, because I said she has kind of a background in engineering and she studied extensively. She can see the power line, I guess, on the rifle that's feeding the bayonet, and she's going to swipe at that, disconnect it.
Sure. So roll plus technical to try and give them a condition.
That's 9.
Right. Cool. On a 7 to 9, it's a fucking hack job. Add a condition to your own mech as well. So you get a condition on your mech.
Can the condition they get be called bayonet?
Yes, they have bayonet. So yeah, your gun like blasts and you manage to sever the power cable on the bayonet, and it like just turns off. And I think what happens is I'm going to give you... I'm going to give you the condition overheating because of the fire that is everywhere. And because of the fact that you have using the burst overdriver, so your system's already running pretty hot. Like they're running hot within their new adapted regulations, but now you're also in a firestorm. So I'm going to give you the condition overheated.
Okay.
So your mech is running hot. Yeah, but you have successfully given them the condition bay or not. Cool. Are you still airborne?
I don't think so at this point. I flew down and kind of used the momentum to slice at their gun, sever the power line, and we're pretty much like facing off at this point.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Exeter. This this person just pulled their gun, and you see them like sort of like bringing their hand up super quick from the side. It looks very much like in Wanted when they're trying to curve the bullets. That's not what he's doing, but it's that sort of like your arm sweeping from the side as you try to bring your gun into range.
So Exeter raises his shield up quickly, or its shield up quickly, and fires off another blast from its shotgun while they're trying to shoot me.
Time for mayhem.
That's a 7.
Ooh, pick one.
I'll deal harm to the mech this time.
Sure. That's the first time you've dealt harm to the mech?
Yes. Correct? Last time I avoided damage and sundered their weapon.
Yeah, cool. So you deal harm to their mech with your blunderbuss. How much damage is that?
Shotgun is 2.
Sorry. Are you saying blunderbuss because the example one is a blunderbuss?
Yeah, no, it's 2 harm.
Cool, 2 harm. You blast them in the chest, and they manage to get a shot off on their pistol, which deals... How much does its revolver deal? Hand cannon, 1.
Does my shield block that? Because I did have my shield up.
That's fair. I'd be willing to turn it into a condition.
I think I'd rather take the harm, honestly.
Fair. It is 1 harm.
So, yeah, alright.
Sure. Alright, yeah, okay. So their bullet manages to hit your hand or something. It's not a huge amount of harm. Yeah.
Alright, yeah.
Cool. So, I think we can play a little bit more with this scene. So yeah, then they fire that off, and then they move in with their sword, and they get super close, and then you see them, you see their sword almost turn off, and you can tell now, almost too late, that they're moving to hug you. They're going in for a grapple. What do you do?
Exeter reaches to its back, locks the shotgun and grabs the hammer, and brings it down in like a big swing. Just like swings down at it to try to knock them away.
All right. So you're trying to knock them out of the way?
Yeah, I don't want them to hug me.
Yeah, all right, sure. Time for mayhem.
Yeah. That's not good. That's 5.
Nice. So they grab you and hold you close. Take 1 harm.
All right.
And then you see parts of their armor start to open. And they say, "I'm not about to lose this fight, old man." And you see energy start to wave out of them. And a few of the other mechs around you, Oscaro mechs that came in with them, they're sort of like looking to you. And you see these mechs turn and start running away. And then this explosion of energy ripples out from this person. It doesn't go too far. Its range is close, but it just flattens everything around in this explosion, like a ring of energy. Take another harm.
Ooh.
I have just used the expulsion burst system, which deals 1 harm to everything in a close range.
Yeah.
Cool.
Is it still holding me?
It is still holding on to you. I would say that your hammer arm is free.
Okay.
Your shield arm is bound up, but you managed to keep your hammer arm free. What do you do?
Okay. So I say, "Oh God, Regan, punch it!" And then I activate my burst overdrive, and then bring the hammer up and try to like just hit it with the I guess the pommel, the shaft.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to like right in like the neck of where the mech would be. Just like raise it up and slam it down on them.
For sure. Cool. Make me that attack roll. Yeah. So you're now blazing with that red light. And remember that you have 3 hold to spend after you roll.
All right. So I rolled a 9, and I am going to spend a hold to bring that up to 10.
Nice. What are you picking?
Time for mayhem. So I am avoiding damage, and I'm going to deal harm to. Deal harm to the mech.
Sure. Your hammer has what stats?
2 harm, hand, messy.
Nice. So you smash your hammer down into its neck. I don't think messy necessarily applies yet.
Yeah.
And what was the other thing you took? Avoid taking damage?
Avoid damage, yeah.
Yeah, cool. So you smash it, and he sort of releases his grip and sort of falls to the ground, and then you see him like roll and scoop up the sword that they dropped. So they now have their katana and their wakizashi again. And I'm just gonna check what modules it has and see if I've got anything cool that I haven't used yet. Ah, yes, that's what I haven't used yet. They sort of like roll away from you, and then you see them sort of, they turn off. Their wakizashi's still off, and you see them sort of like punch their hand towards you, but they're nowhere in range.
And rocket fist.
Just at the last second, you see like a fucking wire and a dart shoot out of its arm and connect with your I think it connects with your shield.
Okay.
Or no, it connects into your hammer. He's trying to pull your hammer away from you. Because I'm thinking you did succeed, so this isn't necessarily a consequence. There's still ample opportunity for you to turn this to your advantage.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So like you could like let go of the hammer and hope that it like flies into his face or something, or like you could try and pull him closer with it. The hammer is of little consequence to your fighting style, so that's why I went, the hammer makes sense.
That's fine. So it's like embedded in the hammer, or is it like wrapped around?
It's embedded in the hammer.
Okay. Exeter, gonna grab the hammer with both hands, and instead of like trying to like just pull it back, like to hold on to it, I'm gonna like yank it as hard as I can and try to like pull them off balance.
Sure, that sounds like you're trying to put a condition on them. Actually, you're trying to put off balance.
Yeah, so crash and burn.
Crash and burn. So roll plus technical.
That's a 7, and the burst overdrive wouldn't really help, so I'll just go with the 7.
Yeah, sure. Cool. So with that 7, you will also take a condition. I think I'm going to give you also off balance. I think you're both off balance. So you pull and stumble, and they stumble. Yeah. But you're both off balance, so +1 forwards when you exploit that, and also take a -1 when it hinders you.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to switch back to the Eyebright, I think.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Go
So
for it.
you're both sort of reeling, and then back at the Eyebright, you're on the ground. This thing's got its fucking rifle, and it sees its bayonet turn off, and it's staring at you.
In that case,
and I think it keeps staring at you, holding its gun. It's sort of like waiting to see what you'll do. So I am extending to you an opportunity to use Take a Moment, Kid. So they're giving ground. Do you want to give ground?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see.
What do you want to pick?
Let me see.
So the options are compliment. I'm just going to read out the narrative options. Compliment their skill. Wipe the blood off your face. Ask them a question. or tell them about your mech and the bond you have with your AI?
I think I'm going to wipe the blood off of my face
Sure.
because I am pretty hurt. So I step back, and in the while I've got like the mech. Like I picture there's we're kind of like circling each other, making eye contact, each waiting for the other to make a move. I have Zeph run a quick system diagnostic and reroute some power to some failing circuits. Maybe pump some extra coolant into the systems that need it. I'm definitely not using the jets because I'm still overheating, and I managed to clear a harm.
Yeah. And then I think we see them sort of spin the gun in their hand, and they're sort of looking at you, and then you see them sort of glance to the ground, and they scoop down and pick up a broken shard of another mech's armor, and then you see them stow their rifle, and they hold up this shard of another mech in like a underhanded combat knife stance. And they're using the "that'll work" move to find a knife.
All right. In that case, I still have my glaive out. I'm gonna use the reach of that pole arm and stab them before they can stab me.
Nice, go for it. Make that attack.
Before I roll, can I do I have to spend my +1? I still have the 3 hold from
You spend your hold at the after you have rolled and know what your results are going to be, because I didn't want to give the Burst Overdrive a shitloads of hold to be able to just boost everything, and I didn't want to put an actual physical timer on how long it would last and then have a static bonus. So I decided 3 hold after you spend, because like if you manage to roll a 10 or you roll a 7, then why would you?
Yeah, you don't want to.
Whereas if you roll a 9, it's like, fuck yeah, I'll burn a hold.
All right.
Basically, so that you can push yourself to a 10 whenever you roll a 9, or you can push yourself to a 7 whenever you roll a 6.
Which is very useful. All right. So that is my time for mayhem. Okay, I'm not going to burn a hold because I rolled boxcars +1, so a 13.
Ugh. Okay, so you go to lunge at them with your staff, and it just slides off, and you realize, damn, these things must have an anti-beam coating or something. And they fucking charge forward to you, and they push the knife up against the neck of your mech, and then they start to angle, they're shiv, and then they start to angle the blade down towards the cockpit. So they have it at your mech's neck, but you can tell that if they just shove their fist down, that bit of metal is going into your cockpit, and I'm going to give you the condition, fearful.
Okay.
Pilot condition.
And I still have self-doubt from last time.
So
I haven't cleared that yet. All right.
I'm probably going to be invoking fearful every time you try to do something that isn't get away from this mech, just by the way. I mean, yeah, if you've got barrage systems, so yeah, you could try and just nuke them at close range. I would let that count as a thing you do in fear. So you wouldn't take a -1 to that.
Right. Yeah, I think I'm gonna trip that off.
Sure. So what does it look like when the Eyebright activates their saturation attack?
Well, you said it's I think I said that I chose. Wait,
I think
far
you went
area
with
multi-target.
Yeah, I think you went with
Arm one.
missiles, like traditional missiles.
Yeah, I think I did too. I didn't make a note of that. So it
You
is
don't
it is
really need to,
kinetic.
because the expulsion, but because it's like an explosion thing, it doesn't really count as kinetic or beam. So it
Okay.
will not be affected by beam coding either way. Because even if it was like plasma balls, it's still the explosion that is fucking with shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it doesn't count as beam. It's the same way that melee weapons without beam on them don't count as kinetic, because they're not bullets. Reactive armor isn't going to do shit to a knife.
Right.
Um, it's going to go straight through the reactive armor.
So I think that that uh, uh, uh,
You've got
a
hand to
little.
hand, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But just to get this thing off me,
Mhm.
a little compartment in the Eyebright's back pops open with a cache of missiles inside it, and they all light up, and you can see inside the cockpit, Tessa is like, "Oh my god, this is such a stupid idea! This is such a stupid idea!" And she puts the targeting sensor right on the other mech that is right next to her, and there's like all kinds of warning text about how the target is too close.
Zephyr, I think we hear Zephyr say, "Do you want me to disengage arming safeties?"
Yes.
Because like missiles have to travel a minimum distance before they'll arm to prevent them like exploding in your face.
Yeah. I want these things to explode right in my face.
Okay.
So that I fire them off. The way I'm picturing it is they launch off like one by one, almost like homing missiles. So they kind of like a high arc, and then they turn back and all converge on us.
Mm-hmm. And then are you going to try and get away from them?
Yes, I am.
All right. So I want you to roll. I want you to roll. I've got you. When the pilot and AI help each other to escape danger, roll synergy.
Okay. Synergy is +3. Let's see how we do.
Also, it occurs to me, didn't you get a 10 on an attack earlier?
Yes, I did.
Anyone who's gotten a 10 on an attack, you should have synergy. So I think you should be hitting where bonded, Ryan.
Okay.
We forgot to do that last time because I forgot to. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
I think I got
add +1. Add +1 synergy. So I should have.
Yeah. So we'll do that after this attack. We'll do Ryan's because we forgot to do it earlier.
Okay.
So how'd you go for your synergy? Would currently be 3 because you can't roll at 4.
Yeah. Well, last time I rolled boxcars, and this time I rolled snake eyes.
Whew. So plus your synergy would be 5.
Plus my synergy would be 5.
You've got 2 hold.
Yeah, if I can dump those hold into it, I will do that.
Yeah, go for it. Tactical will tell you what you sacrifice to avoid danger on a 7 to 9.
All right. So what do I have to sacrifice?
I'm going to count your harm to the enemy mech as 2, even though the that system normally does 1, just because you're targeting all the missiles onto them, and you also almost killed yourself to do it. I think what you have to sacrifice. What do you have to sacrifice? What do you have to sacrifice? Does anyone else have a suggestion? I'm like, oh, civilians die, but there's no fucking civilians here to die.
I have to sacrifice something. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to sacrifice something.
Hmm.
Okay, I know what you sacrifice. The fire is now separating you from the Exeter. You have sacrificed the ability to come to the Exeter's aid.
Uh-oh.
You're overheating. The fire is surrounding you. You do not have much more time left to end this fight. And now you and your ally are separated.
All right. In that case, I better finish this thing right quick.
Now, it's important to note, the eyebright is separated from the exeter. That does not mean the exeter is separated from the eyebright. I can envision the exeter maybe being able to charge through the fire. The exeter cannot because it's overheating.
Okay.
So in that case, I cast aside my glaive, and I take out my SMG and keeping my distance. I'm gonna strafe this thing.
Excellent. You've hit where bonded, so we're going to do that now as you're about to strafe this thing. So clear, reset your synergy to 0.
Okay.
Redefine your, and then pick 2 from the list.
All right.
And then once you've picked, we'll reaffirm your commitment.
Okay.
In fact, I'm going to change the order of those around right now.
I say to Zephyr, we're gonna need to keep away from those flames. We've got to end this quickly so that we can help Alistair and Reagan.
What are you picking?
So I am going to pick redefine my relationship and change my demeanor.
Sure.
And I'm also going to remove the fearful condition.
Oh, good use of that move. So you're no longer fearful. And what is your relationship now?
I think that we're moving on from young lovers. We're going to be comrades in arms.
Ooh. Frosty. Comrades in arms and your new demeanor?
I think I'm starting to get a little bit battle hardened. So instead of cocky, I'm gonna put maybe not. I don't know if I picture Tessa as getting just like heart of steel overnight, but maybe because she did just see like the whole camp go down in flames, and so yeah, we'll go with battle hardened.
Sure. Nice. Excellent. All right. And then, yeah, fucking, you just unload with that SMG. I'm gonna say that you deal 1 harm because you're just sort of blanketing the area, and there's the explosion, and that thing's moving. And then I'm gonna switch back to Alex and the Alistair, and we'll hopefully, and we're getting pretty close to the end here, so I think maybe another 5 minutes. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Exeter.
Yes.
You see this mech in front of you, battered, bruised, sparking. You two are sort of like reeling from one another off your foot. Stumbling. What do you do?
I'm going to plant my other foot in the ground and try to balance myself, and whip up my shotgun and blast him.
All right, go for it.
So do I get the +1 because it's off balance?
Yes, I think so.
Factor in?
Yeah,
okay.
+1.
So violence, that's 6, 7, 8, 9 from the +1 forward, and I'm going to use another burst overdrive and bring that up to 10.
How many hold do you have left?
I have 1 left.
All right, cool. So you spend that. Mark synergy.
Yep. All right. So that brings me to 4. So that's
nice. So clear to 0.
All right.
Do you want to say anything as you're blasting at this thing? I will note that its harm clock is full.
Yeah, I figured.
Ryan, unfortunately, is fighting the one with heavy armor.
Yeah. What was it called? It's
the Musashi, and he is Hattori Hero.
for dramatic sake, Exeter. So he pulled the hammer forward, and kind of like dropped it, and then whipped up the gun. And as the other mech stumbles towards him, Exeter takes a step forward, and just blasts it with the shock. It says, "It's never worth it, kid," and just blasts him with the shotgun.
Nice. So, you've already. So, what are you picking for your harm things?
So I'm going to deal harm to the mech,
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to avoid taking damage.
Nice. So you
I'm
managed
not
to.
able to kill the pilot.
How much harm have you got?
5.
Oh fuck! I just need to do a little bit more. We could roll these death moves.
Well, I'm gonna have to go help Eyebright. So
Yeah, exactly. I could still do this.
yeah, you got it.
I've still got one. I've still got one expulsion burst to use. So, yeah, you blast them.
No, we're bonded.
So, and then let's do your we're bonded. So pick 2.
All right, so I'm going to remove a condition. My mech's no longer off balance.
Nice. Yep. Indeed. You planted your foot.
Yep. And Ryan's not here, but oh no, never mind. There he is.
Yeah, I'm back.
I think
We just had an enemy mech die. It was pretty dramatic. We're just doing the bonded triggers now.
yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to I'm gonna change my pilot demeanor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's one on there, but I'm gonna change it from old to resigned.
All right. Yeah, go for it. Oh, fuck.
Mm.
All right. All right. Yeah, take resigned.
Yeah. And then Exeter spins around and sees, through the flames, sees Eyebright fighting this black mech, and Exeter picks up the hammer, and I'm assuming instead of like actual,
you pull that knife grapple out.
pull that knife thing out and just throw it on the ground, slam it onto the magnetic holster on the back, and goes charging through the flames to go help Eyebright.
Yeah. As you go charging, we hear over the radio. We just hear like a whisper. Run, my love. As you charge through the flame, and we see the geyser burst matchlock sort of look to the flame as you come charging through, and as you burst through the ring of fire, blazing yourself, hammer and shield out. I think we see that other mech's charcoal open and charcoal armor open, and these purple lines like race from near the cockpit on the chest out along all of its limbs, and then we just hear like this kind of slight inhale and then a whoosh as this ring of purple light shoots out. Everybody takes 1 harm.
Oh, I was going to ask if Exeter can put itself in front of Eyebright.
Yeah, go for it. Eyebright, you don't take a harm. Exeter, you still take 1.
Take 2.
No, you still take 1.
All right.
You are now full harm clock. The next one will tick you over.
Yeah. So Exeter like runs forward and slides like along the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust, and brings its shield up right in front of Eyebright, and just takes the brunt of the pulse.
Yeah, I think once the smoke, once the dust clears, we see that mech standing there, and the mech's like heaving, like it's out of breath. And Eyebright, you see it like holding its shiv. It's more ragged now. It's not holding it in that underhanded thing. It's sort of holding it at its side, point down, and it's just like standing there with no defense on its face. It's just desperate to try and kill you now. And we see the Exeter in front of the Eyebright, system sparking. It's ripped to shit. It's loose.
Yeah.
It's got armor plates hanging off. The shield is like chipped and sections of it are missing. We see a part of it's trying to retract in on itself. The Exeter is smashed to shit. And these two mechs are looking at each other, and then I think we hear the other pilots shout out, "How dare you kill our lovers!" And they charge forward with this knife.
How dare we kill their what?
Lovers.
Lovers.
And you hear two voices say that. It's the mech and the pilot screaming it at you. As they charge towards you.
All right. I think at this point, the Eyebright leaps over the Exeter, kicks on the jets, and just like uppercuts this thing to knock it off its feet.
Sure.
Mid-charge.
Time for mayhem.
All right. No, that's a 5.
Ooh.
What were you doing, Ryan?
Leaping over and punching it because he's got hand to hand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna roll. I'm gonna use your Never Alone, so I'm gonna help them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going. Eyebright's behind me, so you're like leaping over the Exeter to punch them.
Yeah.
So Exeter, as you leap over, Exeter like puts its hand up and hits like so you step on his hand, and he gives you like
you give me like a boost.
Yeah.
How does your Never Alone have clear 1 harm from the pilot or mech underneath it?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know why that's there. That shouldn't be there. I don't know what that's meant to be on.
Time for mayhem? No.
No. I don't know what that's been moved from. Meh. Whatever. I'll get rid of it.
I don't see that.
It's in the
moves doc.
It's in the moves and modules doc that I made. I don't know why it's on that. That shouldn't be there.
Okay.
Was it from the Take a Moment?
Yeah, it could have been from Take a Moment. No, it's not from Take a Moment. It's from something else. Because I copied and pasted and moved a bunch of shit around, but I think everything's still got the right modules, so I don't know why that's there. But I'll go through the document later and check that everything's right.
Weird.
Cool. All right. So I rolled a 1 and a 4 plus my +1 violence.
Which brings you to 6.
Oh yeah. Damn. Well, let me see if I re-roll this 1, and I get a 1.
Wow.
All right.
Do you have any burst overdrive left?
Yeah, I have 1 hold.
That would bring you to 7.
So I'll bring that up to a 7. Yeah.
I will point out that Alex is now sharing in the consequences because they're helping you.
Yep. It's all right.
They're resigned though, so we're ready.
Yeah.
I will let you know this. The enemy pilot is at 3 harm, and they have heavy armor.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I pick, if I pick to deal harm to the pilot, that will tick him over?
Yeah, enemy pilots normally have 2 harm.
Okay.
Unless you're fighting one, unless it's, like there's some situations where an enemy pilot will have 4, but normally an enemy pilot has 2 harm.
Okay. So I'm sorry, the mech is at 3 harm. They have heavy armor. What does the heavy armor do?
Your harm clock is 6 segments.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, my hand-to-hand does. Where are we? Does 1 hand, and it is dangerous to any people who are around. 1 harm hand, dangerous. So yeah, I punch it. I'm gonna hurt the mech.
Sure. Cool. Yeah, so you deal harm to the enemy mech. Um, as they twist past you, and Alex, are you happy with taking the hit for the Eyebright?
Yeah.
Cool. So they go to stab you, and we see the Exeter sort of you uppercut and smash this enemy mech, and the Exeter moves and then shoulder barges you out of the way as they get shanked. Um, and we see the Exeter, sorry, start to spark and burn as the Eyebright goes tumbling through the battlefield. Um, uh, we're going to now activate the death move for the mech, which is I know now why you cry. When your mech must take one more harm but can't, roll plus synergy.
So lucky you, I just reset my synergy.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. I still got an 11.
Nice. On a 10 plus, the AI player picks 3. Whatever the outcome, reset synergy to 0 and destroy your mech. So your synergy is 0. Your mech is destroyed. Now pick. Sorry, I haven't worded this correctly. The pilot's AI chooses. So
Right, yeah,
Ryan, you're choosing from this list because you're playing Reagan. So Reagan gets to choose what they do. For those playing at home, the options are the custom weapon survives, the pilot ejects, avoiding the mech's fate. One of the systems is salvaged. Underline a mech module. I'm going to change that now to be added to the pilot's next mech. Perform an emergency core dump. The AI will survive, but its demeanor will change. With your last moment, deal harm to an enemy, or execute an encrypted burst transmission. Write a final message to the pilot. So you get to pick 3.
Okay, I'm definitely picking that Alistair ejects, avoiding the mech's fate.
Yeah, Regan rips open the cockpit as they dive forward, pulling Alistair out and throwing them with Eyebright.
I'm going to pick with my last moment, deal harm to an enemy.
Yeah, you slam the blunderbuss up under the enemy mech's chin and just pull the trigger, and that mech is gone.
And I'm gonna say, I could have Regan survive, but I really like that she takes the hit for Alistair because he's resigned, and she wants him to get out and be happy, even if he can't be happy with her. So she executes an encrypted burst transmission with a final message to him.
You don't have to say what the transmission is now if you want to wait until Alistair has a chance to read it, or you can, or if, like, for example, in the case of the Zephyr, in case of Zephyr and Tessa, where they're mental linked, that, like, I would say they'd know immediately. But Alistair's communication is via that wristwatch. So if you want, you can save the drama of that for a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Sure. Yeah. And so I think we see the Exeter just destroy this enemy mech, and then it explodes. Meanwhile, the Eyebright is cradling Alistair, and the fire is raging around you. And I think you just fly the fuck out of there.
Yeah. I think, yeah. Tessa definitely takes, recovers Alistair and gets him the hell out.
Yeah, you fly out of here back to base, and I think as you're flying over the alpine region of this space, you clear enough to land, and when you land, Alistair, what are you doing as the Eyebright puts you down on the ground? You're awake.
So Alistair hasn't taken any harm. Alistair's fine.
Yeah, indeed.
So how far away are we?
I think you're far. You've cleared the fire, but you can still see it in the distance. It's
Right. So
basically
there's like
Exeter
smoke
did
rising.
essentially a Superman leap with their
Gotcha.
jets.
So Alistair just I'm just gonna say there's like a log, and Alistair just sits down on it and watches the camp burn, and doesn't say anything for a bit.
And Reagan, what does Alistair get their message now?
I think. The message is, God, something along the lines of, I don't know if you're trying to get yourself killed or if you're just not made for anything else in this world, but as a human, you can find another purpose, and that's all I want for you.
Yeah, I think you see this little message. Is it audio or text?
I think it's audio.
Yeah, so you hear Reagan on your little wristwatch say that to you. The camp burning in front of you, the Eyebright looming behind you, your future racing towards you.
Go live your life, Alistair.
And I think, what is the last shot of Alistair we see before the series ends?
Like a flash forward.
It can be a flash forward, or it can be something from this moment. Up to you. But the series ends on a shot of Alistair, whatever it is.
Oh, I'm really torn.
I've got ideas, but I'd rather hear what you have.
Yeah, well, I have. So I'm torn between Alistair listens to Regan's last wishes and goes and does something else. In which case, the last shot would be him like boarding the shuttle off planet, or it's him re-enlisting, but like specifically asking for like a no personality AI. So, like,
I know which one I prefer because that second one is bad. Like, it's good, but it's bad. The second one hurts me.
So, like an AI he couldn't bond with, like it's just
yeah.
Like, it just
the AI's like, "Oh, I'm excited to be working with you, pilot." It's like, look, we're just working together, all right? Business relationship.
Well, I was thinking like it would basically be like it wouldn't be an AI, like it would just be.
Yeah, you want to pilot
like
old school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But no, so I think the last shot of Alistair, it's gonna be him, getting on the shuttle. So he's got like his olive green duffel over his shoulder, and he stows it as he gets on, and as the shuttle lifts off, and I'm just gonna say there's a window because it's the future.
Yeah, why not?
He's sitting by the window and watching the planets recede away, and he's got his little earpiece in, and he hits the button on his watch, and he just listens to the last message from Regan again. Yeah. And then when it finishes, he just hits play again and listens to it.
May I make a minor intrusion?
Yes.
I think as you're playing it, I think in Alistair's hands, they're playing with a ring box.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
No. Alistair left the ring box on his bunk.
Oh yes, yes, yes. So we see them looking out the window, and then we see them playing the music, and then we sort of like fade down to the planet, and we see sort of a shot over the shoulder of Tessa back towards what was clearly Alistair's bunk, and there's just a ring box sitting
Yeah.
there, on this unmade bed.
Yeah, no, he never made his bunk.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that'll be the conclusion. I'm sorry that we went slightly over the time we said we would.
No, that's fine. That
Yes,
It was
was,
worth it.
yeah.
I hope that everybody feels suitably emotion.
Yep.
Live, love, die.
Definitely.
I'm glad that we got to test the death move. I hope that you didn't mind that I was pushing for it pretty hard.
No.
I did
No,
want to
yeah.
see one of them go off.
I mean, it is a play test, so you want to hit all the moves, even
Yeah.
if the
I
unpleasant ones.
think we've used every move now.
Not the pilot death one.
Oh yes, we haven't used
Yeah,
the
I'll
pilot
go
yet,
first.
but I think we used every other move. Yeah, I've used every
Yeah.
other thing. Cool. I would love to hear your thoughts, but at the same time, I don't want. I know that you have you need to get to bed and stuff, so completely up to you whether we
I
want
like
to do that.
I really like it.
Yeah, I've got a few minutes. I really enjoyed it too. I think the combat plays out really cinematically. The moves really hit the notes of the genre in the right way. I love the little world we created and all the relationships and this last session, like I know we were telegraphing pretty hard that Alistair was going to die, 2 days from retirement and all that crap.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really really good that I had the opportunity to have Reagan, bite the bullet for him.
Yeah. Cool. So there were a few things that my other playtest remarked that might be interesting changes, and I wanted to hear your thoughts on them. They wanted a way to. So the AI is meant to help you, right? And like the way that we do that at the moment, the way that I envision that at the moment is the AI. Like if the pilot player gets stuck trying to work out what to do, it's really the AI's player's job to be like, oh, maybe you could try this. But the other aspect of that is we had a lot of the time in our playtest the other day where somebody was trying to give bonuses to another player, and we thought that it might be interesting to either have some kind of move for specifically giving a bonus. So make a modification to how that'll work. The Never Alone move works, where you can either give an ongoing bonus or a
reroll.
Or the reroll. I'm not sure about that yet. Or another thing was giving the AI a resource that they can spend to give the pilot a bonus. And another thought was to make when you do the not the suit up move, but when you do the unorthodox assault move, choose somebody to be tactical planner and then have them make the unorthodox assault move, and then the person that is tactical planner also gets when you do suit up, the preparedness that you get, they also get that preparedness as a resource to spend to give as bonuses to other players.
That's cool. I like that as kind of a narrative device where like you're showing the forethought of the characters who actually know what the hell they're doing, as opposed to the players who may stumble blindly into a combat having no idea what's coming.
Yeah, but did you feel like you wanted to give bonuses to other players and there wasn't a lot of ways that you could do that? Because that was what they were feeling.
I feel just in the end, I feel like the help move, the You're Never Alone move, is an interesting way to do it, because in a lot of other like Powered by the Apocalypse games,
it's plus one or minus two.
Yeah, I think the letting them re-roll one of their die dice is an interesting way to do it. I would think maybe the middle ground would be that sometimes the AI can make that move.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they can explain how they help their pilots,
Yeah.
maybe they
So
can
when
make
you're
that move.
never alone should be when you strive to help another.
Or like a pilot.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily have to, or another.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when you strive to help a pilot. Yeah, that's a good point.
And then just let them know that the AIs can make that move too. And then
Yeah, that's a good point. Cool.
they can
Right.
say, "Oh, well, I
Yeah,
have."
so now we have a move that the pilots can that the AIs can make, but it doesn't involve a lot of mechanical
Right.
Yeah,
interaction.
they don't have to roll. They just have to explain how it is that they're helping.
Yeah, that works. That's cool.
Yeah, I do kind of like the idea of a resource that the AI can spend, like hold in some way. But then again, I do see your point where you don't want to bog down the AI in too many mechanical details, because then you're basically like splitting your focus between two characters. And
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We want to keep the AI character as easy to play as possible. So that you don't have people getting nervous about needing to play two characters.
right.
Yeah. I would say if they did, there's one system I can't remember, but there's one system where you have like luck points,
Mm-hmm.
but it's all you have for the campaign. Like,
Monster
yeah.
of the Week.
yeah,
Monster
that's
of the
it.
Week.
Like, I think maybe it'll be something like that. So like maybe the AI has 5 whatever points,
Yeah.
but that's it. That's all they've got. And then once they're spent,
Fuck yeah. You spend them all real early to do really well, and then all your later missions you're just fucked.
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's like a fog of war kind of thing. Like if once you spend them all, you're just like you're tired, or you're just like your AI is not thinking straight and just can't.
Yeah.
The
well.
other change I'm planning to make is I'm planning to overhaul salvage rights pretty heavily, because I found when I had 3 players that making the we made it move and the salvage rights move at the end of every session would be a lot. Like with 2 it was fine. With 3 it was too much. It took us too long to do. It took us half an hour to complete it.
Maybe.
So I'm thinking of making salvage rights be like the GM XP questions at the end of Dungeon World, where it's like, did you kill an enemy pilot? All right, well, here's something confronting. Did you yada yada yada? Like a bunch of questions that you ask of everyone, rather than rolling. Just so that it's faster.
Maybe like one person can do it and distribute modules, but then if they fail, then they would be the only ones getting confronted. So.
Yeah, I'm just thinking I'm going to pull the roll aspect is the main difference from salvage rights, and make it affect everyone together so that it's faster in play.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway,
maybe you could add you salvage one module from an enemy mech to the closing moves. Like, we made it, and we salvage this thing from.
Yeah, indeed.
A thing.
Yeah, indeed. We'll see how we go, though. I'll do that. And if you have any other thoughts on stuff you want to do, let me know. You've got my email and stuff, and we might do another play test of this in the future. If you've got ideas for other modules, that would be cool to hear about too. I'm planning to make upgraded versions of a few of the things on there. So upgraded versions of repair kit and medical kit. So there'll be repair kit and medical kit, and then there'll be a next tier above that. Making like a thing where you have like mirages of your mech on the battlefield, so it's harder for you to be hit. Making a straight up invisible thing. So at the moment, the holographic camouflage is if you don't move, you're invisible, because it's mostly used for hiding the mech, not for sneaking up on people.
Right.
And there was some other thing that I had an idea for that I haven't written down yet.
You should do like one of those giant laser attacks.
Yeah, I think that you could kind of use the way that giant laser attacks are normally used in them is to like burn a bunch of enemies. So that's kind of it's kind of the saturation attack module, which I can't remember the name of right
now.
Yeah,
okay, that's true. Yeah,
like the what is the fuck is it called? The barrage.
Yeah.
Thing. Yeah, but
or maybe a modification for the barrage that lets you target
A specific target.
Yeah,
I mean,
guess
it might be worth making like your mech has a bigger single-use weapon integrated into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you too late, so I will let you go.
I quite enjoyed it. It was very
Yes,
good.
it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Cool. Well, excellent. Yeah. So hopefully this game will be available. Hopefully by the end of October. You'll be able to get it on my new store that I'll be launching soon, where I'll be selling my games. I'm going to be making an itch.io store. And a friend of mine is planning to make one too, so I'm like, oh, I'll make one first so that I can work out how the fuck to do it.
Nice.
And then you can
Very
follow.
cool.
So yeah, I'm glad that you guys liked it. I'm glad that we all had fun. If you want to see more from Ryan and Alex, you can check out their podcast, Ragnarok. They also have a Patreon. They're also on a few campaigns and a few sessions of our show. So you can search for Alex and Ryan in the tags, or click on their tags on this podcast once it's actually in podcast format. You'll be able to click on the tags for their name and see everything that they've played in. Ryan even ran a campaign for us.
It was a good one. Go check it out.
It was a damn good one. It's
Gods and
currently being remastered. We're going through and re-editing a bunch of the audio to make the quality a bit better. So you'll be able to find that soon, that updated version. But the current version is there for everyone. If you liked this episode, please consider checking out our other Powered by the Apocalypse stuff, or any of our other games that we've played. I really enjoy running games, and I hope that you enjoyed listening to these games. And we have a Patreon as well. If you feel the need to support us or feel the desire to support us, you can check us out over there. You can get access to episodes early. You can get access to our behind-the-scenes show where we talk about how we run Insert Quest here and how we keep stuff going. We also talk about design elements there as well. So we talk a little bit about... this month we actually talked about how I made Live, Love, Die. So that's good. Go listen to the September 2018 episode of Quest Markers. It only costs $1 a month to gain access to Quest Markers on our Patreon. But other than that, farewell from the past. I'm Ray.